Are you ready for this? Come on, be honest. Did it ever happen to you? Summer's here. You decided to wear your favorite hot pants from last year. You get it out of the wardrobe and you can't get in it. It shrunk over winter time lying in your wardrobe. Exactly that what happened to me. Must have been too hot in there, whatever. So I'm going to show you, instead of throwing my hot pants away or giving it to somebody that's smaller than me, that would make me upset anyway, I make it wider, I make them bigger. We're looking at this. These are my favorite hot pants. This is the original seam, and this is one side that I've done already. Because I realized I should add on both sides 4 centimeters, which means I got to make them 8 centimeters bigger to get my butt into it again. So, what do you need? You need to first of all open up this seam very carefully. Don't cut the seam out. Open it stitch by stitch up and iron it flat. Then you have to prepare some stripes. If you don't have the same material, you can take something in a different color which will nicely go with this as well. Doesn't matter. Measure the lengths of your opened up seam that you will have. In my case this was 32 centimeters, and as I said, I want to add on this side 4 centimeters, which I've done, and on the other side as well 4 centimeters. So you need 4 of those stripes, 32 long, or however long your hot pants will be, 6 centimeters wide for all those long parts, 4 you need. Iron it in half and then iron one edge 1 centimeter over. 2 for this side, 2 for the other side. And you need a little belt part to put in. That you have to measure out. If you would have 4 centimeters on each side, like me, you would cut this 8 centimeters long, because all the seams that you will have here, you got to add on, don't forget. And you got to measure the width of your belt here, double it, and also add 2 centimeters of seam onto it. So in my case here I need 9.5 centimeter, and iron this in half. Also, the way we're going to do this, you should put an interfacing onto all the parts to give it a little bit of strength. That's all your preparation, and here comes the work. I'm going to open up the seam now and cut the belt through on any place where you decide, but you should do it then of course on both sides in the same position, so it's not so showing. But as you will probably wear a belt here, this part that you put in is not going to be shown and seen anywhere. After you opened up the seam of your hot pants, iron it very flat, very well, both sides. Then take one of your first stripes. I repeat, you iron it first in half, then you iron 1 edge a centimeter over, because these 2 centimeters will be your finished width for one side there. Now you stitch the side that is not ironed over onto the left side on one of your halves that you opened up here. You start right directly on the top and you stitch it on by 1 centimeter. On the left side, the right side of the stripe goes on the left side of this. 1 centimeter all the way down to the bottom. Now you just turn it over You can go to your ironing board if you wish and iron this flat on the left side, but it's not really necessary on a jeans material. This lies so nicely over when you iron this edge a centimeter over as preparation. You start stitching back and forth where the material is properly there, not where the fringes are. And you just pull this tight. Always pull the bottom a little bit, keep it tight, because that helps you that this material will not carry on. That you don't get no pulling, no sideways pulling on that part. Now that's a bit awkward if you get to something like that. It wants to push you away. Then take your time, slowly, stitch by stitch, and go along until you reach the top. That's the first side done. The other side, you opened up as well. You turn it. So again, the left side, the inside of the trousers is facing you. And you take your next stripe again. This one I have not fringed out yet. I do that later, but you can do this just easily by pulling bit by bit all the threads out until you have the amount out that you wish to have as on the trousers. But therefore now, as I haven't pulled it out, I must lie it over so far because I want the same effect later on. Again here, you stitch it on by 1 centimeter. Always look towards your ends that you finish off in the same width there. Also here, you just turn it over and your already ironed edge will fall on top. Again, hold the bottom a bit tight and you will see it will very nicely stitch down your lane that you have there without any pulling. And now don't stitch all the way to the end because you want to open this. Your back and forth stitching will end where the material of your main trousers will finish. About there. Now we have to do the belt, the waist. You open this up a bit as well. The farther you can open it, or you will open it, the easier it is to stitch this part on. But as I got this loop here, I will not open it so far. That's for, therefore you have to just take your time here for this centimeter that you're stitching this waist onto the little part that you extra cut for that. You have to turn it a bit. If you take your time, it will be no problem to do this like that as well. That is the first part. You can already lie this seam to left and right because then it's not quite so thick there. Makes it easier for the next job. You can even, if you want to, like put a little stitch in there, then this will not fall over again when you get to the next job then. Do it here as well. So it's secure and lies there. Of course now we have to add this belt, the waist, onto this one. We just slide the proper sides onto each other and stitch on this part that's smaller than that. Otherwise it's more difficult. Put edge on edge here and do 1 centimeter seam. As I said, if you open it farther, it will be easier. But with the loop that I have there, that's why I did it a little bit. So here you can see already how this comes together, how this joins. And here again, I put this seam apart first. If you wish, you can quickly go to your ironing board and iron it, but it's definitely lying better if you do it that way. Now you can just stitch the top over first. That also helps this seam to stay in position. See this edge there? So, and now you can see already that this will come into here exactly. Again, don't stitch this side onto the right first. Stitch this belt part on the inner part first. That means I'll turn it like this. Put them exactly on top of each other. And go to the inside, to my seam, to where I opened it up. If you cannot reach it totally, it doesn't matter. I show you later why. Underneath, I show you from this side, you're putting your two parts exactly together in the middle. Up here, they also got to be even, otherwise you get a wrong length of one of them. And you stitch it on by 1 centimeter. And there you reach, that's where you put the seam. Now here's still a little hole, but that doesn't matter, because when you now stitch this part over, you can go all the way and close it, that little hole, automatically in the back as well. So I push this loop a little bit back, so I get really in there to where I opened my seam up. Lie this flat, turn 1 centimeter over onto this seam that I have there. And stitch all the way to that seam where you started it. Now, I showed you earlier on that one side is done already. I did it with those rings, we call them Ösen, and exactly the same thing we have to do on this side now. So I take my tape measure. As I remember, the other side, I did the first ring on 2 centimeters down from the belt, from the waist, in the middle of this 2 centimeter part. And the next ones I all did on 5 centimeters. And I put them in the middle. I can still adjust that a little bit later. You will see on the next job that I do. And this I would like to leave open, that part. Yeah, just transfer that over, approximately 5 exact. If this is too wide for you, you can of course make them much closer together, many more in, or you can also stretch them out farther. It doesn't matter. To do these eyelets, which I want in here, I do have a special machine for it, but if you might not have this, you can buy a little hand plier machine to put these eyelets in, or you can also buy a finished tape which has eyelets in and just stitch it on. So with my particular Stocko machine, I first prepare the holes that is necessary if you do not want the material to be pulled in when you put the eyelets in. There's many different parts to this stucco machine, but also if you buy a little hand pliers machine to do this, you will also get different parts with it. That's why now I have to change this part, which I made the holes with, and I put these two parts in. This one screws in the top end, and I will, in the upper, I put the actual eyelet, and it needs a little ring underneath. The hole that I made, I pull over my top one and just squash it in. Later on I'll just clean that out a bit. Or when I pull the string, the cordle in, it also cleans it out automatically. Oops. Wasn't pulled in correctly. Two? Yeah, that was two. All my eyelets are finished in, and I want to put this black cordle into it. So I just thread it all the way down. Okay. Now I go again on my sewing machine. I hold this in position where I decided that's how my bottom is. I give it a real good stitch over so it's held there. Now I cut it approximately to the same length as my trousers are, and I will open all this cordle up, which will give it the same effect as my fringes here on the bottom of the trousers. So here we are, the finished product, my hot pants that will fit me this summer. I made it wider on each side by 4 centimeters, as I explained in the beginning, and I wanted the same effect on the bottom with these fringes. That's why we stitched the cordle together here with a sewing machine and just undid all this. Yes, I hope these pair of trousers will still fit me next summer. Otherwise, I might have to do you another video. So do one as well. Enjoy it. Bye bye until next time.